Something happened in the Landman Season 2 finale that nobody saw coming. And it's about to blow the entire show wide open. Tommy Norris just made the one decision that could either save his family or destroy every single person around him for 2 straight seasons. Tommy Norris did one thing over and over again. He cleaned up other people's messes. He put out fires that weren't his. He protected an empire that never belonged to him in the first place. But that all changed the moment the Season 2 finale hit. And honestly, once you understand what just happened, you'll realize why Season 3 might be the most dangerous chapter this show has ever produced. Tommy didn't just walk away from M-Tex Oil. He built something of his own. It's called CTT Oil Exploration and Cattle. And for the first time in this entire series, Tommy Norris isn't answering to anybody. No boss. No board. No Monty Miller looking over his shoulder. Just Tommy, his crew, and a brand new company with his name stamped all over it. Now on paper, that sounds like a win. That sounds like the moment fans have been waiting for since episode 1 of Season 1. But here's the problem nobody's talking about enough. Building an oil company from nothing in West Texas isn't a victory lap. It's a minefield. And the man Tommy just put in charge of walking through that minefield is his own son. Cooper Norris is now president of CTT. Let that sink in for a second. This is the same kid who spent 2 entire seasons learning everything the hard way. He got in over his head more times than anyone can count. He made decisions that put people he loved in danger. He fought for every ounce of respect he has, and most of the time, people still doubted him. Now he's not just working under pressure anymore. He's the one making the calls that decide whether this entire company survives or collapses before it even gets started. That's not a promotion. That's a test, and it's one that could break him. Tommy's technically stepping back into a vice president role, but let's be honest with ourselves here. Does anyone actually believe Tommy Norris is capable of sitting quietly in a corner while his son runs the show? Not a chance. Tommy is still going to be in every room that matters. He's still going to be the one negotiating, the one making calls, the one solving problems his son hasn't even seen coming yet. And that's exactly where things could get messy. Because sooner or later, father and son are going to want 2 different things, and when that happens, this show is going to feel a lot more personal than it ever has before. Now here's where it gets even more complicated. What happens to Cammy now that Tommy's gone? Because remember, she's the one who fired him in the first place. She brought Nate in to replace him. Nate turned her down flat. And now Cammy is standing completely alone at the head of a company she never actually wanted to run. She didn't want to destroy Monty's legacy. She just wanted to protect it. But even Nate told her the truth nobody wanted to hear, that Monty never intended for that company to outlive him. So now she's sitting on an empire with nowhere to go, watching the man she pushed out build something brand new right in front of her. Ask yourself this. What does a woman like Cammy do when she's cornered and she's got nothing left to lose? Does she swallow her pride and go to Tommy for help? Or does she decide that if she's going down, she's taking his new company down with her? Because both of those paths lead somewhere explosive. And the tension building between these 2 characters right now might be the most dangerous storyline this entire show has set up yet. And then there's Cooper, and this is where things start to feel personal in a way that hits different. The legal trouble tied to the death of Ariana's attacker may be behind him on paper, but people in high places don't just let something like that disappear quietly. That man wasn't some random nobody, and the way he died didn't sit right with the kind of people who have real power and real reach. Detectives may have stopped chasing Cooper, but that doesn't mean the danger is gone. It just means it's coming from somewhere else now, somewhere Cooper isn't watching for. He's a company president now. He's a target now. And the people circling him aren't going to knock on the front door. Now let's talk about the relationship that's actually been the heart of this entire show, because Cooper and Ariana have been through more than almost any couple on television right now. And somehow, they keep choosing each other every single time life tries to tear them apart. They've survived danger, distance, distrust, and situations that would have ended most relationships a long time ago. And now, for the first time, they're not just surviving side by side. They're building side by side. Ariana's right there with Cooper as this new company gets off the ground. And that closeness is exactly why Season 3 feels like it's heading towards something bigger. A wedding. Think about it. These two have already talked about their future together. They're working together now. They're more solid than they've ever been. Every single sign points toward a wedding somewhere in this season. And normally that would be a reason to celebrate. But if you've watched enough television, you already know the truth. Shows like this one don't hand characters happiness without making them earn it the hard way first. The moment two people look like they're finally about to get everything they've ever wanted, that's exactly when the walls start closing in. And if someone out there is still holding a grudge against Cooper, if someone connected to everything that happened with Ariana's attacker is still watching and waiting, a wedding would be the perfect moment to strike. A room full of people who love Cooper, all in one place, all with their guard down. That's not just a beautiful moment. That's a target. So what actually happens when episode 1 drops? Based on everything building up from the finale, here's the most likely direction this premiere takes. Expect Tommy to move fast right out of the gate. No slow burn, no easing into it. He's going to officially launch CTT and start reaching out across his entire network to get this company moving before anyone else can catch up. On the surface, everything is going to look optimistic. The team is going to be energized. New business opportunities are going to start rolling in faster than expected. Cooper is going to be trying to figure out exactly what it means to sit in the president's chair, learning in real time what it feels like to have his name on the door instead of just his hands in the dirt. But underneath all of that momentum, cracks are going to start forming almost immediately, because a company built this fast, with this much riding on it, doesn't come together clean. Something is going to go wrong early, and it's going to go wrong in a way nobody expected. Episode 1 is also very likely where we finally get our answer on Cammy. Does she come to Tommy looking for help, swallowing every ounce of pride she has left? Or does she go the other direction completely and decide that if her legacy is falling apart, she's not going down quietly? That decision alone could shape the entire tone of this season, because a Cammy who asks for help is a very different threat than a Cammy who declares war. And speaking of threats, this show has never been shy about introducing new danger the moment things start looking too good. Every season of this series has had its version of the suits, the people in expensive suits with real power, who show up the moment somebody like Tommy or Cooper starts building something worth taking. Season 3 is almost certainly going to introduce that danger early, giving us just enough of a glimpse to understand exactly what kind of trouble is circling this new company before it even has its footing. Now here's something worth paying close attention to, because it changes the entire shape of this season. Cooper's new company isn't just backed by ambition. It's tied to money connected to Gallino, the same cartel figure who has haunted this family since season 1. That connection alone should make anyone nervous, because nothing tied to Gallino has ever come without a price. If Cooper's company is running on money with that kind of history attached to it, then this isn't just a business risk anymore. It's a ticking clock. And on top of that, there's a quieter storyline developing around Rebecca and a new face in her life. A geologist who might end up mattering a lot more to the future of this oil war than anyone expects right now. When land, money, and family start overlapping this much, somebody always gets caught in the middle. And this season looks built to make sure more than one person pays for it. Now here's the part that actually matters most if you're a real fan of this show, and not just someone watching for the drama. When is season 3 actually coming, and is there any real reason to believe it? Because for months, the timeline on this show has kept shifting, and that alone tells you something about how much pressure is behind the scenes to get this right instead of rushing it out the door. Early reports suggested filming could start as soon as spring, but that window slipped. Then came direct word straight from Billy Bob Thornton himself, confirming that production is now set to begin at the end of August. That's a real, confirmed detail, not a rumor floating around online. And here's why that timing actually matters more than people realize. Season 2 shot on a tight schedule from spring through the end of summer, and it still managed to deliver 10 full episodes that broke streaming records the moment they dropped. If Season 3 follows anything close to that same rhythm, a later start doesn't necessarily mean a longer wait than fans expect. It just means the release window shifts slightly, landing somewhere between late this year and the very beginning of next year instead of the exact same November slot fans have gotten used to. The director already confirmed that editing is happening while filming is still going on, which is exactly the kind of overlap that could keep this show on track for a late 2026 premiere instead of pushing all the way into next year. So if you've been worried this show might disappear for an entire year, take a breath. Every real, confirmed detail right now still points toward this story picking back up sooner than most big streaming dramas manage to pull off. And that's really what makes this next chapter feel different from anything that's come before it. This isn't a season about survival anymore. It's a season about what people do the moment they finally get power, money, and a company with their own name on it. Tommy spent 2 seasons proving he could survive chaos that wasn't his to fix. Now we're about to watch whether he can build something of his own without losing the son he just handed the keys to. Cooper spent 2 seasons fighting to be taken seriously, and now he's sitting in a chair that could either make him or completely break him before he's ready. Cammy spent 2 seasons trying to protect a legacy that was never really hers to hold on to. And now she's standing at a crossroads where the next choice she makes could define the rest of her life. And underneath all of it, Ariana and Cooper are closer than they've ever been, standing right at the edge of something beautiful. In a story that has never once let its characters keep something good without making them fight for it first. That's the real weight sitting underneath everything building towards season 3. It's not just business. It's not just oil. It's family, loyalty, danger, and the terrifying reality that the people you love the most are usually the ones standing closest to you when everything finally falls apart. Tommy built this new company to protect his family and give them something better. But if history has taught fans of this show anything, it's that the things built out of love are usually the things that get tested the hardest. So here's the real question heading into this next chapter. When Cooper's world starts cracking, when Cammy makes her move, when the people connected to Gallino's money finally show their hand, who is actually going to make it out of this in one piece? Because right now, nobody's future feels safe, and that's exactly what's going to make this next season impossible to look away from. If this breakdown had you hooked from the very first line, that's exactly the kind of deep dive this channel is built around. So make sure you hit subscribe right now so you don't miss what comes next when new details drop. Drop a comment below and tell me who you think is in the most danger heading into season 3, Cooper, Cammy, or Tommy himself. And if you want more breakdowns just like this one before anyone else covers it, make sure that like button is hit and notifications are turned on, because this story is just getting started.